we're gonna be gone almost 3 weeks now. I would come home for like a day, maybe 2 days, and then leave again already. And I just don't think I can make that work. It is Sunday, March 5th, 2023, and on this week's edition of Sunday Sofatime, we're talking about a disappointing realization and an exciting upcoming cruise. Happy Sunday, everyone. We are packing our bags. We are getting ready to leave. Tomorrow, Monday the 6th, we are flying to Miami, and there's all sorts of exciting things happening. Not only are we flying to Miami, staying in a new area, and then we're gonna be on a ship we've never been on and doing a transatlantic cruise, which we've only done once before, but we're also flying with LOT Polish Airlines over, I think in English you say Warsaw, right? And I'm not quite sure how that's gonna go. So I'm looking forward to showing you how that all went, what that experience was like, probably in Sunday Sofatime, maybe next week when I'm in Miami. Well, I'll be on the ship then. But anyways, and I want to tell you a little bit more about our upcoming cruise, where we're staying in Miami, and I have some questions for you. But before I get to that, I have to tell you something that I kind of realized that I'm pretty disappointed about, actually. Last year in the winter, I went on a skiing adventure where I haven't been skiing in so many years. It's something I used to really love to do. I still really love to do it, but I just don't do it very often anymore. That could be said for a lot of things as you get older. And a small but very enthusiastic group of you out there followed this skiing adventure last year and have been asking when I'm gonna go again. And I really, really wanted to do another skiing adventure this year. And I was writing back and forth with my friend Kali, AKA my bodyguard. Get the whole story in my book, Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship, available on Amazon now. I'm going with Kali and his family to Disneyland Paris in April, and I thought, okay, well, why don't I go skiing and then go meet up with them and then go from Munich, where they live, with them to Paris. And Kali said,
Morgan, skiing is done in April.
And I thought,
yeah.
So basically, I missed the season. There are still places where you can go skiing in April down in the Alps, up like the places that are in the higher elevations. Some of them have glaciers that you can ski on. That's still possible, but the transportation situation when you don't have a car makes that really complicated. It's like a 10.5-hour train ride on a slow-moving train to get there, and I want to go skiing, but not that bad, I guess. So it looks like I won't be going skiing this year, and I'm really bummed about it. I wish I had just thought about it and planned it sooner. I really enjoy being spontaneous and planning things sort of in the last minute. I'm not somebody who thrives having a rigid schedule planned out for a long time in advance, but I guess this is one of the examples why that has major disadvantages too, because if I had just thought about it and planned it sooner, I would be going skiing. Let me change the light here a little bit. Is that better? I guess technically, if I really wanted to go back to Garmisch and the Zugspitze, which is that really, really tall mountain in Germany, it's the tallest mountain in Germany, same place I went last year, I could still go there, but I'd have to go like right away when we got back from our transatlantic cruise. So we're gonna be gone almost 3 weeks now. I would come home for like a day, maybe 2 days, and then leave again already. And I just don't think I can make that work. No skiing this year. I'm pretty bummed about it, but it's all my fault. Nobody else to blame but moi. Did you go skiing this year? Did you have a good time? Did you break your hip? I hope not. All right, now let's move on to this upcoming trip, which is something I'm really excited about. And I know, disappointed I can't go skiing, but it's not like I really can complain. I do a lot of really great things, right? I have to say that every now and then just to remind myself too. We leave tomorrow morning, probably go to the airport around 8 o'clock in the morning, flying from here to Poland, and then from Poland over to Miami. And we're staying someplace in Miami where we've never stayed before. We've stayed probably 5 or 6 times directly in South Beach, sometimes in a resort that's right on the beach, sometimes in a hotel or resort that's like in the second row. We've pretty much always had a good time there, but the thing that kind of made us want to change it up a little bit is just because Miami Beach is just so expensive. And I don't mind paying a little bit more money for something that's really excellent, but a lot of Miami Beach is not excellent. It's a lot of lipstick on a pig and pretending it's something glamorous. So we decided to look for other opportunities, and we're staying in the neighborhood of Brickell, Brickell, which is really close to the cruise port, and it's by downtown. So we're looking forward to exploring that area. Something about this location right there on the river, it reminds me of Chicago. Any of you Chicago people out there? Doesn't this kind of look like the Chicago River? We're staying in a high-rise building. It's a VRBNO, or like an Airbnb. It's somebody's condo that they rent out. I think it's going to be cool to just be totally different than staying on Miami Beach. I think I might miss going to the beach. Maybe we'll take an Uber out there one day. I mean, it's not like we need to be close to the ocean, because the 12 days after that, all we're gonna see is ocean, basically. But yeah, it might be kind of weird to go to Miami and not go to the beach once. But so the first question I wanted to ask you is, if you know this area, Brickell, and you have some recommendations for what to do there, hit those comments
right now.
Another thing I wanted to say is, I know from the comments of the video where I first said that we were gonna be doing this cruise, that more than a handful of you are going to be cruising with the same ship at the same time. So I want to try to get together with a lot of you. And if you're interested in watching this video, send me a mail to sofatimelive@gmail.com with the subject Symphony or Symphony of the Seas. And I'm going to look at the schedule and try to find a time where we can, like have an unofficial takeover of a bar or bingo or something like that. So remember, if you're interested, write to Sofatime Live with the subject Symphony. And I'm really excited to be back on a Royal Caribbean ship. Our most recent cruise was on the Wonder of the Seas. We had an amazing time, even though the circumstances right before the cruise were really awful. This will be my third Oasis class ship, and I'm really looking forward to experiencing it, and also having the opportunity to take you with me and show you guys the pluses, the minuses, the differences in these three very similar but yet kind of different ships. When we cruised with the Wonder in September, that was our first Royal Caribbean cruise in quite a while, and I just kind of forgot Royal Caribbean does a lot of things great. Oh, by the way, Royal Caribbean also offers a way that you can send cruisers gifts. Did you know that? This isn't possible on every cruise line, but I know Royal Caribbean does it. So if you know somebody who's going on a cruise, like some friends, your parents,
maybe YouTube content creators that you like to watch.
If you go to royalcaribbean.com/royalgifts and you know the date that they're sailing, you can send them a surprise. So like if you were gonna send something to, me, for example, you would put in my name, Morgan O'Brien, and Marcus's name, Marcus Huetten, sailing on the Symphony of the Seas on March 9th. And you could send us, like a bottle of red wine, for example. Oh, that one looks really good. I'd sure like to try that. I'm just kidding. Nobody needs to send us a bottle of wine.
But you can if you want to.
I just really wanted to remind you that it's a cool thing that you can do for somebody. If you know somebody who's going on a cruise, send them a surprise like decoration package or a bottle of wine or champagne or something. When you get to the cabin and something like that is waiting in there, it's a really special way to start the cruise. So we sail away from Miami on the 9th. A lot of you will be on board. Please say hi if you see me. If you're gonna be standing and watching the ship sail away, let me know too. I'll try to wave to you. And then we have a ton of sea days, and we're only stopping in 2 ports. And this is another thing I wanted to ask you about. What do you think we should do in these ports? If you have experience in Valencia or Malaga, Spain, what did you do? How was it? What do you think we should do? I know that there is plenty to do on the Symphony of the Seas, but I think after, what do we have, like 9 sea days in a row, I think we're probably gonna want to do a little bit of walking on land. And I'm always interested to hear what kind of things you've done there and what you thought was good and what you thought is definitely not worth taking the time for. That's one great thing about having this platform, having this connection here. It's a great way that we can learn from each other. Not only that I can show you what I learned and what I think is good and not so good, but I really appreciate it when I can get some feedback from you as well. And I also wanted to ask how many of you have done transatlantic cruises. It's a really special thing to do just because there's so many sea days and it's a huge distance that you're traveling. And I didn't think of this because our last transatlantic was in April, and I think it was already a little bit warmer. You know, it was already kind of spring-like, and when we got to Barcelona, it was still very pleasant. But I think this time it's going to be a little bit different. I think when we leave Miami, like every day, it's just going to get cooler and cooler and cooler, because at the moment in Barcelona, it's also the high temperatures are only like in the 60s. So I think we should enjoy having the sun while we can, and probably try to get on the water slides and stuff in the first day or first couple of days, because pretty sure that by the end of the cruise, it's not going to be that kind of weather anymore. But if you've done a transatlantic cruise, would you do it again? And I think it's time for me to make an updated video of pros and cons of transatlantic cruises. So if you have any ideas for that, also let me know in the comments below. Geez, I'm gonna get a ton of comments on this video, but that's great. I like that. And that's about it for this little update here. If you want to see what's happening day by day on this trip, because I did book the Voom internet, which by the way, cost 220 euros for the cruise. I will be posting on Instagram and on the Very Unofficial Travel Guides Facebook. So my Instagram is at Mr. Morgan O'Brien, and then if you're not on Facebook already, look for Very Unofficial Travel Guides. Those are the two places where you'll be able to see what's happening from day to day on this exciting journey across the ocean. And now will come the time on Sunday Sofatime where I comment on your comments live on air. Last week's Sunday Sofatime was my old person's guide to visiting Disney World. I talked about how the planning situation is different now, and that there's many things that you must do before you get there that are new if you haven't been there in a while. I also went through each park and told you some things that if you're my age or older and haven't been there in a while and are maybe dealing with some broken parts, some attractions that you might want to watch out for, and some attractions that are probably going to be okay. These comments are on that video. The first one is from Audra Olson. Audra writes, I'm in my late 40s, and the last trip to Disney, the indication that I was getting old was when my cousin's advice for Space Mountain was to sit behind someone in our party who was wearing a white t-shirt so that I could see which way he was being pushed and pulled and could brace myself and not hurt the discs in my back. I agree, it's definitely a lot rougher than I remembered. Also, strange that you should mention the People Mover, as it is seriously one of my favorite rides. Nostalgia, I think. So relaxing, and the cool breeze is always welcome. I never thought about sitting behind somebody in a white shirt. I mean, the Space Mountain rockets are 2 cars. So if there's somebody in a white shirt sitting in the front car and you're in the back car, that might help. But if it's just the person in the same car sitting directly in front of you, I don't think that millisecond that they experience the things before you is really gonna help. Did it help? Also, I totally love the People Mover. I can't imagine a visit to the Magic Kingdom without riding the People Mover. I know some people in the comments who are Disneyland people said they're still so disappointed that they don't have a People Mover anymore. And it makes it even harder that it's all just still standing there. It's just, it doesn't work. But yeah, Space Mountain, the feeling that I remembered from being a kid and riding it, this sort of like free, flying, smooth feeling is kind of gone. Next comment is from M Goose. M writes, basically, if you just want to buy tickets and go have fun, go to Universal. Y'all know I'm a huge Disney fan. I'm also a former Disney cast member, but I have to 100% agree with this comment right now. Universal offers an excellent amount of really fantastically themed thrill rides, and spending a day at Universal and having a good time there is so much less complicated than going to Disney World nowadays. And the final comment is from Tulsa Ken. Ken writes, I enjoyed the video a lot and will review it next time I go to Disney World, especially since I'm much older than you are. Now, please do a similar video for Universal Orlando. Well, Ken, it's funny you should mention that, because I have that video in the works. Can't tell you exactly when it's going to be done, but it's definitely in the pipeline. Thank you for your feedback. it's great to read those things and know that somebody's looking out for this, because I'm not always sure. When I make a video, sometimes I think nobody's gonna watch this, and sometimes I'm right. All right, everybody, I'm gonna pack up this camera, sit on top of my suitcase to hopefully get it closed for the next 2.5 weeks. I look forward to bringing you those updates on Instagram and Facebook and the videos of the journey here on YouTube. I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. See you soon. It is Sunday, February 5th, it is Sunday, March 5th, 2020.